Why is the Sustainable Apparel Coalition so unfair with alpaca and other animal fibres? What is the Sustainable Apparel Coalition? As its executive director, Amina Razvi says the Sustainable Apparel Coalition, SAC, is a revolutionary collaboration in the clothing industry. This coalition has developed the Higg Index, which is attempting to establish social and environmental improvements in the industry for the sake of sustainability. However, we wonder why SAC never consulted the alpaca industry. This coalition has classified silk, alpaca, wool and cotton as the most polluting textile fibres for the environment. However, they have not considered all environmental facts and the social impact of each of their value chains on which millions of people depend. Just with regards to alpaca, we're talking about 1 million people. This Higg chart shows a comparison of the established indexes for alpaca, polyester and wool. Bear in mind that the higher the index, the more polluting the fibre is. The big difference between alpaca and the other textile fibres is in the value assigned by Higg, and therefore the SAC, to a process called eutrophication. Very few people know about this process, but in short, this refers to the pollution in the aquifers, rivers, lakes, oceans and groundwater caused by human and animal feces, fertilisers and mining operations. For more information, click on the link provided. It is worth pointing out that alpacas have been in the Peruvian Andes for thousands of years, and their habitat has never been affected by this process. The Peruvian government and members of the alpaca value chain has repeatedly asked why eutrophication is given so much weight in the SAC assessment, and we never received an official response. Observations on SAC's methodology. According to their index, animal fibres are more polluting than any other synthetic textile fibre, even though a large number of them come from petroleum. We do not understand why SAC gives more weight to the process of eutrophication. The impact of the alpaca, according to this value due to eutrophication, is 67 times more aggressive than that of polyester and 14 times more than wool. Surprisingly, cashmere is not included in the assessment. SAC was never willing to explain or show the source of these values, despite the intervention of the Peruvian government. It is probable that the eutrophication process is necessary for the sustainability of the natural habitat of the alpaca and their ecosystem, at more than 4,000 metres above sea level. SCS Global Services, upon request of Inc. Alpaca, carried out an analysis of the life cycle assessment, LCA, of the alpaca and its industry. The data obtained support our observations. Alpaca and wool have a similar impact on the eutrophication process and not as SAC established, where they claim that the alpaca is 10 times more aggressive than wool in this respect. The value for the eutrophication produced by cashmere is 3.47 times greater than alpaca and wool. Therefore, its global index will be at a similar level as that of silk. Why isn't soil pollution considered, given the biodegradation time of the different textile fibres? Once cotton is buried, in 3 months it loses 38.69% of its original weight, animal fibres 33.16%, while polyester gains 4.44% of its original weight. This explains why cotton degrades in 18 months, animal fibres in between 2 and 3 years, while polyester takes between 250 and 500 years. Why does the Sustainable Apparel Coalition and their Higg Index not consider ocean pollution? The main pollution sources for the oceans come from activities that take place outside them, 80%. The first one is plastic waste, followed by oil spills, mercury, chemicals, pesticides, and finally nutrients from fertilisers, human and animal feces, and the mining industry. Where do the microplastics that pollute the oceans come from? 35% come from synthetic textiles. What does SAC say about that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why should soil degradation and ocean pollution is not included in the Higg assessment? SAC must explain this. Conclusions. The Sustainable Apparel Coalition is giving an excessive weight and inaccurate calculation to the value of eutrophication. Also, it must explain why it does not include soil degradation and ocean pollution in their assessment. Each textile fibre has its own dynamics, and the impact produced in the social, environmental, protection and even fashion fields is different for each one of them. We understand that it is difficult to compare one fibre against another, but each industry must assume its responsibility in the areas mentioned above, particularly in the social and environmental ones. For this reason, we consider that the Higg Index may be distorted, which makes it detrimental. Let us assume our social and environmental responsibility to the full extent.